Abdullah Njai can give them a spark offensively in terms of hitting the offensive glass. Nice pass.
Well, they recognized that well because they had doubled the post without anybody having the ball in the low block. But
Fred Washington wide open. You see the double between Lodrick Stewart is trying to front, Taj Gibson playing behind. Nobody's on the weak side covering Fred Washington Jr. You got to play a little faster, not be so deliberate offensively. Get Stanford into an area where they're not completely comfortable.
Fred Washington on the drive.
That's what makes Fred Washington Jr. so valuable. A senior, but he's been awarded another year because of the injuries he suffered last year. Here's Nick Young bearing the three-point shot, and then don't relax. On defense, if you're guarding Nick Young, he's shooting about 44% from the three-point line. So he's a very, very good shooter when he gets his feet set from long range.
And all of a sudden, Marcus, USC is suffering some foul troubles. And Gibson just picked up his third. Shot clock down to 3. Mitch Johnson puts it up. It rattles out no good. And here's Fred Washington inside. And they're absolutely killing USC on the glass.
Making the scrappy plays. And those are the effort plays, the hustle plays where Stanford has been had the clear advantage.
Had their biggest lead of 12. Now they need to do it on the defensive end. And Washington again going left and taking apart USC's defense.
Memo to USC. Fred Washington Jr. is a lefty. He wants to go left from the right wing.
And that might be why Tim Floyd just called the timeout. When it happens on 3-4 straight possessions, something's got to change. Taj Gibson.
Bayless haven't scored. Jordan Hill's got 8. Bayless defending Anthony Goods. Fred Washington, nice cut down the lane and a good pass from Brook Lopez.
That's one thing about the Lopez
stretch. Jordan Hill's numbers he ended up 13 points and 8 boards a game. And they got another thing that gets lost behind Bayless and Budinger.
Yeah, well, any other year, that's probably good enough to make some type of all Pac-10 team, second or third this year. And not this season.
Yeah, Budinger called. That's Budinger's second.
And that possession that you're talking about, there was a loose ball that he didn't chase down because he's complaining, and then he lost track of his defensive assignment because he was a little slow getting back, and Anthony Goods was able to make the layup. This is too important of a game, and it's nip and tuck all the way. Those points make a difference.
Yep. And again, the night, there'd be no doubt.
Yeah, you're right.
McClellan. And Fred Washington clears it. McClellan's not shot it well tonight. 0 for 5 now. And Budinger reaches in and picks up his third. Back-to-back defensive sequences, and that puts a little squeeze on Chase Budinger.
And it becomes an issue as a player, not so much that the foul was called, but like they're getting away with murder in terms of your perception down at the other end, and then you want to call the slightest bit of contact at our end of the floor.
So Fred Washington, who's on a team that's generally pretty good at the foul line, Fred be the one guy that would be challenged at the line. And there he goes, makes 3 out of 4. And he made 2 big ones at the end of after Bayless missed a shot that would have tied it for Arizona. The game of numbers here as Bayless ties the game, and really the 4 Wise, Bayless, Hill, and Budinger have played pretty much wire to wire here. Budinger and Hill have been out for less than a minute. Brook Lopez. Fred Washington stole it. Nice job. Boy, Stanford making some money doing that right now.
And that's what hurts a lot, because it's not like it's Robin Lopez or Brook Lopez or even Taj Finger. It's Fred Washington, and Juwan McClellan's got to locate and box out. There's no excuse for that.
So I think here these last 14 minutes, Marcus, we're going to get a little test again of Arizona as Washington blocks Wise. See what Arizona has in the tank. This good. It was never a recruiting battle. They were destined to go to Stanford.
Arizona, a little dribble handoff, weave action out top, just something to get some motion going to the basket.
And Brillmeyer had it go right through his hands. Fred Washington running the floor.
see the way Mitch Johnson gave it up right at the perfect moment as Fred Washington separated. Here's just a bad pass by Nick Wise in close quarters, and just a beautiful job again delivering the pass on the bounce, on the fly, right there, full speed to Fred Washington. Just catch 1-2. Up for the easy 2 for Fred Washington. I still think Arizona, for them, they offensively.
But that's been a theme in the second half. How many times have we said that for Arizona? Tough shot.
Yeah, yep. And they slowed down the pace considerably, Arizona, here in the second half. First half, a fast-paced game, looking to try and exploit opportunities penetration-wise with Nick Wise every chance he got. That hasn't been the case, and as a result, their field goal percentage has continued to go down.
Look at that crash by Fred Washington. And, you know, for all the talk about the Lopez's, Stanford's done some damage that way with Washington and Finger and Hill on the offensive boards.
Yeah.